Welcome my Fromly and Losties to another edition of From Lost, where we make the connection between both shows and possibly understand where we're going into the upcoming From Season 3. In today's episode, we go back.
We have to go back!
That's right, Jack. We have to go back in order to move forward. And today we focus on a pivotal moment in Lost history, Season 5, the incident, and how that connects to the new arrivals that come into Fromland. So make sure to slap that like button. Once again, welcome to From Lost, where we explore the similarities between both shows. Gotta give the disclaimer, From isn't Lost and Lost isn't From, but you'd be terribly remiss if you think there isn't any inspiration from the show. So, today's connection, they are coming.
I can't hear you. They're coming.
Let's look at the infamous scene that shook Losties everywhere. Of course, I remember it vivid as day. This episode titled The Incident, Part 1, towards the end of Season 5, where we meet Jacob and the man not named, MIB.
I take it you're here because of the ship.
I am. How did they find the island?
You'll have to ask them when they get here.
I don't have to ask. You brought them here. Still trying to prove me wrong, aren't you?
You are wrong.
Am I? They come, fight, they destroy, they corrupt. It always ends the same.
It only ends once. Anything that happens before that, it's just progress.
Now, in this scene, we get Jacob, who we can infer that for ages he's been running an experiment of his own, constantly leading different groups to the island and believes that people are good. Yet on the other side, we have MIB as we know him, as he was never named, and he believes no matter what, people are inherently evil, delivering one of the top quotes of all time: they come, they fight, they destroy, they corrupt. It all is the same. Could we be implying a time loop theory here? What about what Jacob said? It only ends once. Anything before that is progress. It can be argued, and a popular theory, of course, that what Jack and crew did in the past by trying to stop the incident is what actually caused the incident and started the chain of events that led them crashing their plane on the island in the first place, and it's all one big loop. Whatever happened, happened, right? Y'all remember that? As we look to Fromville, there is also a similar situation. Season 1, we had the Matthews family arrive, followed by the bus in Season 2, and all those who predate their arrival, of course, Donna, if she's not the mole. But even in Season 3, it seems once again we have new arrivals. In the trailer, you saw the EMS or the police officer. I'm not sure she had a gun. So, but anyway, brought here by some force, but for what reason? We don't know. I do feel like there is an experiment or simulation of some sorts being played in the background. I kind of almost akin it to, if y'all ever heard of the game Evil Within, I think it was like on PS3 or PS4 or something like that. I still haven't finished part 2, but anyway, the premise of it is that the main character is hooked up to a big simulation, and he's connected to this world that if he dies, he dies. But it's basically it's somewhat the same thing. Very horror, sci-fi, things of that nature. If some of y'all recall that game, but could there be some machine that these people are tied to and they're brought in and they're under this experiment? Could be, don't know. But going back to Lost, although Jacob wasn't necessarily like in a lab coat, he was pretty much conducting an experiment of sorts, along with his counterpart who thought, people, they're always going to be evil. People do have good on them on Jacob's side. And Is the same going on here per se? Now, this is where I would say things differ. We know Jacob's endgame was ultimately for someone to take his place as protector of this magical place. We simply know it's the island. Definitely, I can say it's not the same for From. I can promise you nobody wants to protect this place called From, right? So I don't think there's anybody looking for a new protector of From land. So we can get that out of here. Instead, this could just be a simple social experiment, albeit a very evil, sinister social experiment. And the real question more so is who is behind this experiment slash simulation. You know, we have the theories of the mole, Tilly, Donna being the top two. They could be laughing maniacally, pulling strings behind the scenes. Or maybe the person responsible for all this doesn't know he caused all this, creating his own incident per se. And I'm talking about Jade. Of course, in season 1, he was boasting about selling his company that dealt with quantum algorithms, physics, or something like that. And what if something went wrong with this project he was, responsible for creating? Maybe an incident perhaps happened, right? That led to the events of From, and he doesn't remember. Maybe whatever company bought him out has, overseers responsible for what is happening now. Either way, this all stems from Jade, whether he's responsible directly or not. And then what about Toby? Toby had something to say in season 1 before Sarah turned his music box off. It seemed like he had something to say. He said something like, "We shouldn't have done ... and then he was cut off. So was it something important, or we will never know. Now I know all this leans towards the show being more scientific, but like Lost, I believe From is part mythical, part science. Are the forces that control From scientific or mythical? I don't know. I just don't have simply enough to go by. But what I do know, there seems to be some type of, I guess you could say, threshold test, wink wink, one of the episode titles, that is basically mental, physical, for those in Fromville, meant to see how far they can go before they are broken. And the game seems to be getting harder in this deadly simulation. Is the game rigged, and has it always ended the same per Man in Black, or is there hope that somebody will come and break the algorithm and it will finally end per Jacob? We shall see. All right, guys, this has been another edition of From Lost. If you haven't, be sure to catch up on the playlist on the end screen for previous episodes and also the rest of my From Season 3 coverage. And if you've enjoyed going back,
we have to go back.
Make sure to slap that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for more From and Lost content. See you next time.